Followed by a return. Trémège trying to keep the distance by landing that body kick. Big hook. That might be it.
There will be a standing 8 count here.
That was a big check
Dude, you
hook.
got the highlight reel.
Hey, had to whip it out for you, man. Pause.
Caught Liu coming in, and that is one of the worst times to get caught because you fall down.
Liu was building some really good momentum, and I was just about to say he was getting a little careless on the entry. He's coming in with heavy hands, but then he gets close, and he drops his guard, and he got clipped.
Solid check hook by Trémège as he was exiting out of the pocket. Really cost Liu.
And a good right hand.
Oh, you don't want to start spinning around. The ref will stop you.
Liu is still on Dream Street here. He is hurt.
Hurt pretty bad.
That's it.
That's it. That's it.
Wow.
Right at the bell. Whoa. People throwing drinks in celebration, I think.
I gotta know, man. Where does that rank on like accomplishments?
It's up there. It's up there. top three, especially fighting wise. It's gotta be number 1.
Man, when you at the end of that, you know, when you walk into I see you're looking at your corner and you're yelling. What were you yelling, bro?
I don't know if I remember actually. I might have yelled at him in French. I just get a little hyped sometimes. I got blacked out on that one.
So let's get it clear for everybody to know. Is it Keith Trémège?
No, so it's going to be Trémège. So Trey, there's like the name Trey, and then Mej.
Keith Trémège.
Boom. That's
My
it,
man, Keith Trémège joining us here live on NFC Now. Show number 26 ahead of your rematch against Albert Liu. What weight you at, brother? Lightweight.
I'm not a very big lightweight, so it's easy for me.
Word. For the NFC's Muay Thai Lightweight Championship coming up on Friday, April 21st at Tannery Row. Keith Trémège. First of all, happy Monday, man. Thank you for joining us. How you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Good to be here. It's been a long day, but I'm used to it. Big day of work, and then went and got a couple hours into the gym and got back in time to be here with you.
Are you familiar with the NFC Now pod?
Familiar. I've watched it.
Okay. What are your thoughts, man? Is this your first time being on the pod? Like,
It's my first time being on it. I'm happy to be here, but I think it's good, man. I'm happy that you give the fighters a voice and they get a chance for people in the community that you don't know, you haven't met, to get to talk to. It's a big thing. I've watched Reese. He's on here too. Reese is my boy, so Nathan Rivera as well. So it's good to kind of see him and get a second opinion, as well as see some of the guys that I don't know that go to different gyms. Because at the end of the day, we're all Georgia fighters. For
sure, man. Now, when I asked you to be on earlier, where are you at right now? Are you nervous? Like, how you feeling, man? What's up?
Pretty good. I got it on me. It's a big day of practice. I got to watch David for a little bit. It's good to see David back and his spine's okay. I was a little worried about him, especially with spinal fluid leaking.
For sure, man. You have a big defense, big title defense, man. I just want to be clear. Was that the last time that you fought?
It was. Unfortunately, I've been trying to find a fight since, but it just hasn't quite worked out. Part of that's on me. Like, I was out of town, traveled a little bit. I went to Thailand, which was incredible, but I've had some difficulties finding one. Hopefully, I got a couple more booked later this year, like already set up, hopefully. So that's ideal. But I've been trying to get back in there since like August.
How did this fight come about?
So I offered a different fighter at Bangkok Boxing to fight me for my belt. And I think they weren't interested, but Albert said he wanted a rematch, and I was like, sure. I've been trying to fight somebody for months now, and I got a lot of respect for Albert, especially too with that fight. It was accident, of course, but he hit me in the nuts at one point, and he didn't try to throw any extra shots or anything like that. He backed right off, said, my bad. He dapped up, went right back to fighting. And even like the shot I clipped him with, dropped him, his legs were shaking. And he got back up and came right after me. And like, just from one athlete to another, I got to have respect for that, because it's not an easy thing to do. I've never been dropped like that. I've never been dropped at all. Not even wood, but it's not I can't imagine it's an easy thing to do without any people around. So it's like from one athlete to another, I respect them. And he wanted to get a rematch. He took the fight short notice. I also took the fight short notice though, because I was supposed to fight a wrestler in MMA. So I want to do this one again because I don't think I actually had a good performance that fight. I think the result was good, but I think how I fought was actually pretty awful. I hadn't done Muay Thai in 6 months. Because I switched over to ATT Team Lima and was just doing MMA all the time. And when I do MMA, if you don't like know from doing both, or some people don't do both, the stance is completely different. The way you fight is completely different. The way you set stuff up, the range you can sit in, it's a wildly different sport. Like you can't just be like, oh, someone has 10 Muay Thai fights, they can fight in MMA right away. Like it doesn't work like that.
What gym did you go to before ATT?
I was at X3. And I was one of the initial ones to leave. I saw the way that they were treating the coaches and the staff there, and I just said, like, absolutely not. Like, I'm not being part of that. I'm not gonna like, because you can complain about something, but like I know just from my job and business, money talks. If they see like subscribers or members leaving, that's what's gonna matter to them. So I saw the way they were treating the coaches, and I just wasn't a part of it. And I was like, they didn't treat the fighters very well either. I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm not gonna be here. And then my boy Nathan Rivera was like, hey, I know how competitive you are. I know you just moved out to Chambly. Come check out Team Lima. I just got here like last week, and I think you really like it. I think you'd be a good fit. So he knew I wanted to do MMA anyways, because I want to go pro in MMA. I don't have any interest in doing pro Muay Thai. I'll stay amateur and keep taking fights for a while. But Nathan invited me over, and I came in like day one and loved it.
Indeed. There's a lot to break down there, man. I never fully understood the X3 exodus. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was very interesting, the way a lot of people did leave X3, and a lot of people found their footing at Team Lima. How long were you at X3?
Like a year, I guess. Because what was the first? My first IKF, I trained for like 3 months. Then I had my first fights, and that was in March. And I left after the December fight, so like maybe a year and a half at the most. Probably a little less. Is that
how long you've been training in general?
Yeah, I've been training for like less than 3 years total. Like total.
What's your why, bro?
I've been asked this question a lot actually, because people, I have like I guess I have a different job than most people that fight, but I love the competition. I love getting better. I love fighting. I think I fought, like looking back on it, it makes a lot of sense. Like when I was a kid, I was an angry kid, and I fought all the time. Like I just wasn't happy the situation I was in, the things my brother and I were seeing around me, the places we would get left, and all the different things we go through. I was just angry, and I'd fight all the time. Eventually I grew out of that, thank God. But as well as like, it's important for me, like when I look in the mirror, I want to know who that man in the mirror is. And that's, if I'm going to spend the rest of my life looking at it, I'm like, I want to know who that motherfucker is. And that's something that fighting will give you, whether you like it or not. You will get that reality. It's not, you're going to find out when you get in a firefight in front of people.
Who is this motherfucker that I'm looking at right now?
CPA.
Have you been able to like really get the answer to that question?
Yeah. And as well as too, I think fighting's made me more confident. I used to be like, I'm still quiet. Like I'm still kind of shy, quiet, but I used to be like very quiet. Like people, I guess like even like in high school, people like, you're very like nice dude. Like you don't really talk much. It's like, nah, it's not, I'm a good listener. It's just not really my thing. But I think since fighting, I think that helps with that kind of confidence and, you know, being more outgoing, as well as all the great people you get to meet through fighting as well. Like, you don't know, like if I had never done fighting, I probably would have never met Walt McCord, and like, love that dude. Never met Beast Watkins. Love that guy. So
that's fire. Honestly, like if somebody who's never fought before, like just heard your answer to that, like you got to find out who that motherfucker in the mirror is. Like that'll get me ready to go fight.
That'll get you in there, Julien.
I like that energy, bro. I like that energy. Yeah. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Keith Trémège joining me here, NFC's lightweight Muay Thai champion here on NFC Now, show number 26, ahead of his rematch fight as he defends his belt against Albert Liu on Friday, April 21st. Now, you know, hey, you know, before I get on the pod, man, I just type your name in on the interwebs, and the first thing that I see pop up is LinkedIn, Keith Trémège, Senior Transaction Advisory Services Consultant. What the hell is that, bro?
So my cousin, he kind of raised me growing up. So I was 14, and he was 21. I lived with him and his two best friends. So he's like kind of like my older brother. He comes to all my fights. So I'm sure you'll see him around. But he calls it like the greatest Google of all time, because it shows that, and then it shows my like Tapology page. But So transaction advisory services, it's like mergers and acquisitions consulting. So like if Netflix wanted to buy Hulu, I'd help them figure out how much they should pay, if they need to hire a new CEO, if they should put their employees on the same health insurance plan, how much money that will save them, that kind of stuff.
So when you're at work on a daily basis, do your colleagues know what you do after work?
So at my job now at RSM, they do. At my old job, I didn't really have fights at my old job. So I maybe had one. Maybe I had the Travell fight then, or Travell fight was right when I went to RSM. But so they do now. Like some of my coworkers, like my partner has come to one of my fights before. Like they're all about it. They're super supportive. I don't have to hide it from them. I've come to the office like a black eye before, which has been a little a little interesting. I don't know if they quite fully understand it, but they're supportive and I don't have to hide anything, which is a huge plus for me. So I remember talking about that when you interviewed me after my last fight. And there was like some of my people I work with were there, and I was like, I'm very lucky that I'm allowed to do this, because I think
that's really, really dope, man. I think that's really, really dope, and I think that kind of leads me to another question, man. You've talked about some of the things that you dealt with growing up. When you do have these fights, is family around for you?
Yeah, some family, but again, it's it just kind of, I just kind of have my own situation with that. But my cousin, my brother, they're always there. They don't miss them. So
is that what you fight for when you get into the cage? Or is it like, is it something, is it just that man in the mirror?
Yeah, I think you got to be honest with it. I think fighting is one of the most selfish things you can do. Like maybe you can be inspiring and things, but like you're asking your friends and family to come see you potentially get like life-altering damage for a relatively small amount of money. Like you should be able to admit that you're doing it for yourself. And I think that's kind of a better way to mentally look at it. Like your friends always going to support you. They're going to be there for you. But I think if you're trying to, unless you maybe like you have a kid, you're fighting for that. And that's how you're going to provide for your family. Like I totally understand that. I don't have kids, so I can't relate, but that makes sense to me as well as, but I think fighting is inherently a selfish thing. So you should just kind of own that part of it. At least for me, that's the way I look at it.
How do you feel when you make that walk? I've never made the walk before, but I'm just always so curious about the psychology about like knowing that, like, hey, I could get my ass whooped right now.
Yeah, like mentally, that like you kind of have like mentally your brain's like, why are we about to do this? Like wait, what part of this seemed like a good idea to you? But your body's kind of like maybe like a shark in water would be the way to put it. Your body knows what's up. It knows what's about to happen. It's ready to go. And it kind of just takes over from there. But it's definitely like nerve-wracking. Anyone who says they're not nervous when they go walk up a fight, like you're full of shit. Like, come on. It's how it is.
Now, when I look at your Tapology record, it reminds me of that fight that you had against Trémège, man. That was a young Keith.
Yeah. I trained like 6 months total, and I had never gone to a single jiu-jitsu class.
Yeah, so when you look back at that, man, like what are your thoughts about that? And is that something that you would possibly want again?
Yeah. I think I'm friends with Travell. I like him as a person. I think he's a good dad. I think we'll fight again, either as amateurs or as pros. 100%. We've looked at each other in fights and kind of know what's going to happen. And he beat me that night. Like there's some weird shit that happened with that fight, but I'm not good. Like if I look in the mirror, like he beat me. That is what happened. And like as a competitor, I made that the background picture on my phone till my next fight. And I fought my next fight with a broken rib that I lied to my coach about because I couldn't keep looking at that fucking picture. Like I was like, I couldn't keep looking at it. I was like, I have to fight to just get this over with and get a win.
That's real. I don't want to talk about other fights because you have a fight lined up against Albert Liu coming up Friday, April 21st. What skills does Albert Liu bring to the table, especially now that you've been in the cage with him before? Like, what are some things about Albert Liu where it's like, now I got to watch out for this?
He's like a conventional Muay Thai fighter, and for the best of my knowledge, he doesn't do MMA. Like, so I think MMA and Muay Thai are very different. And if you're going to spend half your time doing one, you can't spend the whole time training just one of them, which kind of sucks. It gives you a bit of a disadvantage. But he's big. Like he's not necessarily like the strongest guy, like in the weight room, but for the weight class, he's a very big guy. So he's got some size on him, and he's tough, man. Like I hit him with some big shots. And I know how hard I hit and how heavy I hit. Like when people get hit by me or hold pads from me, they're like, this is weird because they're not used to having someone who hits very heavy. It's kind of just a God-given thing. Like I boxed for a little bit, and I had no idea what I was doing. But it was for some like charity thing in college. And the coach was like, "You've never boxed before." Like, no, he's like, "You have no idea what you're doing, but you just hit like a freight truck." Because it's just, I don't know if I have heavy bones or something like that. But I hit him with the kitchen sink, leg kicks, knees, punches, everything. And he did not, he never looked like he was going to quit, which normally some other fights, like I can have other stuff. I've hit someone with something pretty good, and I can kind of see it in their eyes. They kind of change a little bit. He's got a dog in him. So he's well trained. And I also know like he wants this rematch. So he's motivated, and he lost in a not good way to lose a fight. Like, you know, with all due respect. So he wants every day to get that back. I know how I felt when I lost. So he's going to be training as hard as he can. I've got to be training as hard as I can too.
Yeah, I'm
he's
sure
going to bring that energy to the fight.
I'm sure that's a big psychology thing. Like, you know, people, you don't like getting beat. I'm sure he didn't like getting beat the way he got beat. Like, he has to be coming at you with everything. Yeah. Is that making you train harder?
Yeah, and he's got to be confident because he asked for the rematch. I didn't like offer him if he wanted to fight again. They were like, "No, we want the fight back." Now, granted, part of that's because I might have been him being overconfident. I don't think I fought well at all. I think I looked horrible that fight because I hadn't done Muay Thai in 6 months. Like, I had to like try to remember how to do it in 2 weeks. But at the same time, like he's gonna want to get that fight back. So I know, like when I first took the fight, some people were like, "Oh, you're gonna be easy knockout again." And I was like, no. It's not gonna be like that. It's gonna be the hardest fight I've ever had. Like, that's the way I mentally think about it. Because I think if I don't do everything I can to prepare right, like when I make that walk, I can't be confident, if that makes sense.
That fight took place at the district. I believe the Trémège fight took place at the district as well. Have you fought anywhere else?
Yeah, I fought at Pink Pony. Hold on. I got my all the little posters up here.
Oh, shout out. You got your posters framed? That's important, bro.
District,
shout out to
Pink
you.
Pony District. This will be my first time at Tannery Row.
What are your thoughts about have you ever been there physically, or just your first time fighting?
No, I've never been there. I've seen like the videos. I watched, like I bought like the stream when some of the teammates were fighting there. So I've seen like the venue, but I've never been there. I guess that makes sense.
So the thing about Tannery Row that's really interesting is this walk, man. Do you know what song you're gonna walk out to?
I haven't quite decided yet. And even if I did, I'd keep it from you. I walked out to Jeezy last time. I've walked out to Rolling Stones before. But I think it's kind of going to be mentally where my head's at for that week.
You can never go wrong with no Jeezy. I ain't going.
No, you can't.
That's what's up, man. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Keith Trémège joining me here on NFC Now. Is you said Italian?
French. But basically, almost where my dad's side of the family is from, though, is almost basically in Spain. Like, it's on the border, like on the Mediterranean. So I hope to go visit there one day.
That's what's up, man. You went to UGA, right?
I did. Greatest
Proud
school in the
Bulldog.
land.
You said what?
Greatest school in the land.
Where?
Also, it was free, which was nice.
I would disagree with you. I'm a Georgia State guy, but I understand UGA got to crack.
Hey, Georgia State is free too if you get the little Zell Miller thing.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So shout out to them, man. When it's all said and done, man, what do you want out of this game?
I want to just see how good I can be. It's kind of just a journey for me. And then I do hope maybe one day to coach. I think my wrestling coach was really impactful in my life. When I was living with my cousin, I wasn't making all the best decisions, which like 15-year-olds kind of on their own probably don't make the best decisions. But he really like grabbed me and like looked me in the eyes like, man, you can do anything with your life. Like I believe in you. And like I made like wrestling captain as like a sophomore or something because I just wanted to be like good like that. And it was great to finally have someone believe in me. You're not going to just people around me telling me that you're not going to amount to anything. You go to jail like the other people in your family, like other shit like that. It's like you can either kind of buy into it and make an excuse, or you can get stubborn and be like, nah, fuck you. Like I'm going to do whatever I want with my life. So I think it would be nice to at some point, like at one point I want to go into education before I sold out and did finance and accounting. But I think it would be nice maybe to coach when I get long down the road, get better, know enough to coach others, maybe help some kids that kind of grew up with some of the similar challenges that I did. I think that would be a bit of a dream of its own. And, see if I can win. I think I have to keep goals somewhat reasonable, or else you gotta, like, if you just say, I'm gonna be a UFC champion, like that's a really big goal that's really, really far away. And like, there's no way to kind of measure your progress towards it. I think something keep it in mind, like win some more fights, keep getting better, see how good I can be, see like what the real cap is. Because I've trained for a really short time for how many fights I have. Like my first fights, I trained for like 3 months. And like Justin Burns, my Muay Thai coach, still work with him. A great guy. He was like, look, you hit like a freight truck. We're just gonna let you go fight some people and see what happens. You got headgear on. So I think I've learned at a pretty quick pace, but I think there's like kind of just try to see where the ceiling is and just keep working hard, keep staying on the grain. Like if I don't have something to do, I'll chew my hand off. And this is unfortunately, I wish I had something that was probably healthier for my life. My career advisor at work would love for me to have a hobby or something that I really love that's probably doesn't involve getting hit in the head, but this is it. Like this is what I like to do. This is what I love to do.
You know, on the pod, man, I've talked to a lot of people and I've heard that before. They said martial arts is nothing unless you can give it back to the next person coming down the line, man. So I think that answer is so beautiful and it's real, especially us talking about the way in which that you grow up and now that you want to be that same light that your wrestling coach was on to somebody who is just like Keith Trémège. A couple more questions before I let you up out of here, Brian. I appreciate your time this evening.
No worries, man.
Now that you're at ATT Team Lima, man, that is I consider it, and I joke around and I say that's the Cowboys of the NFC. It's like, you know, it's like the flashy gym. There's everybody.
Yeah.
It's America's team. You know what I'm saying? It's Atlanta's gym. ATT Team Lima, man. But you hear nothing but good things and you see nothing but killers in the building, man. What can you say about not only the gym itself, but the people that are in the gym, from fighters to coaches?
Man, like there's a double-edged sword having so many fighters because it's hard to get one-on-one time with a coach. But if you can just make a peace with that and realize how many great fighters you have around you, that like I go to practice and like go to MMA practice, I just get my ass whooped. Like I lose on a consistent basis, but I try to look for who's the best and go, and I get, as well as great training partners. Like I get great rounds with Nima, get great rounds with Nathan Rivera, great rounds with CT, great rounds with Adele. Trayshawn works to be a good amount. Like I was working with Humberto Chavez today. I told him I did the podcast. He's like, yeah, man, let's get some sparring and get whole pads for you. You know, we do a good job of helping each other. And I think I've progressed a lot trying to just learn from people. Because you're in a gym with so many people that are so good and have done it for so long. Like, you know, Mike Bardsley teaching me how to control weight when you're on top. Because I had never really done jiu-jitsu. So it's a lot to try to learn all of that. And then try to get put into, like, I guess now that I have a large amount of fights for how little time I've trained. They try to, like, promoters would try to just be like, I've been offered like 3 pro debuts and I don't know why. They're all in MMA too. I was like, I'm a white belt in jiu-jitsu. I am not ready for a pro debut, man. At 170 and shit. It's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to Virginia. The
amount of names that you just dropped, I don't think you understand. You know, just again, I do this pod every Monday, man. The amount of names that you just dropped, man, would make for a lot of compelling matchups. And I have been on record and been like, damn, I just wish we would see some of those matchups, man. Are you at all worried that there's too many people coming to ATT Team Lima?
Not really. I don't think so. I can't, unfortunately, because of my job, I can't go to pro practices in the morning. So I don't know if people kind of work in more there or like cross train more often there. But I mean, regardless, I think you're not ever gonna fight your teammate. At least I'm not ever gonna fight one of my teammates because, like, let's say like Nima spends all this time working with me in practice, right, and helping me get better, helping me fix the things I don't know with grappling, with wall work. And then once he teaches me all this stuff, I'm like, Nima, you and me are gonna fight. Like, yeah, no, that's crazy. That's a dick move. That's disrespectful. Crazy. And I understand completely why Diego is like not about that at all. It doesn't create a training environment where we can confidently try to make each other better. By no means am I asking for teammates to fight. Yeah. I understand. You know, it's just it's a lot of names that you just named in that room. A lot of great fighters in which I completely respect and I would love to see. But then I'm realizing, you know, being that everybody did Exile X3, like, where's that next big gym? And there are big gyms, respect to all the other gyms out there. This is just something that is ATT Team Lima specific that I like to ask guys. But Keith Trémège, am I saying it right? Yeah, you got it, man. You got it down now. I got to do the point up and the point down. I want your final thoughts, man, before we part ways today, man. What do you want to leave me and the entire NFC community with? Come out April 21st is a stacked card. I know Joel Winters just got on there too, taking a short notice versus, I think, Josh Kozer is his name. That's a big fight. That's a good fight. My buddy JoJo's on there. He's fighting Travell. That's a big fight. That's a good fight. You saw me and Albert fight the first time. It was a banger. It was a great fight. Like, I think I remember watching. Even the announcers were like, "This looks like it might be a good one." They kind of stared at each other. I know I was a tough guy. I'll put on a show. I know Buford's a bit of a drive. Like, I live right by I grew up right by District. Like, my godfather's car shop was right behind the Onyx on Cheshire Bridge. I used to live there. So it was like a mile down the road. That's why I had to walk out to put on that one, because it's like this is where I'm fucking from. Like, I gotta put on the show for this one. But it'll be a good fight, and come out.
Yo, make sure you get your tickets, man. Yo, Keith, as you said earlier in the podcast, you said that you like the NFC Now pod because we're able to learn more about the fighters, man. But I learned a lot about you, man. I've already rocked with you, man. But just having 30 minutes just to talk to you about your journey and your why behind lacing them up and making that walk makes me even more of a fan, man. I wish you nothing but the best come Friday, April 21st. And when you see me, just say what's up. It is nothing but love. Tell everybody at the job it's all love. And ATT Team Lima, ladies and gentlemen, that is the NFC's Muay Thai lightweight champion, Keith Trémège.
Much appreciated, man. Have a good one.
Hold it down, brother. Peace.
Absolutely.